got the bump over the latch. Now just stack something under that tire to keep it up in here.
No, it goes across.
So you can just push off. You want to pop the handle off that jack, just in case if it goes to tip over, does it?
So.
No, I mean the handle on the jack just slides off forward. You don't want the handle to smack them. Oh, okay. There you go. Alright, so you want to
wheel it in and go straight, and I'll back it up and push it up.
Yep, like that. This is Nick from Turn and Burn on YouTube and Turn and Burn Jeeps on Instagram. We just dropped off this 1949 CJ2A to Kyle's Jeep Adventures. And one way to kind of tell what style Jeep this is, because sometimes it's hard to figure them out. 1949 was a pretty good transitional year between the 2As and the 3As. So the 2As had some 3A features and 3As had some 2A features. The number one telltale, yeah, at first glance you might think this is a 3A with a 2A windshield on it, but actually if you start looking at the bumper, these bumpers are kind of flared up at the end. The frame horns are flared up at the end that the bumpers bolt onto on a 3A and a late 2A, whereas early 2As and the MBs from World War II, they've got these gussets right here that hold the bumpers on. So that's something to look out for. And then if you pop open the engine bay, we can see that the radiator mounts are directly down on the frame right here. So that's how a 2A radiator mounts up. A 3A, the grill is designed to where the radiators bolt right behind on top of the shroud right here. It's probably just a little bit more efficient for cooling. That way you didn't have as much gap and airflow. So that's something to watch out for. And then obviously most people that know Jeeps know that the 2As had a two-piece windshield design. This one doesn't have the inner frame in it, but it's split right down the middle, and then the whole windshield is just pretty straight. Whereas a CJ2A, they actually added kind of like a vent right here that you can open up for air conditioning, and then the windshield's a lot more curved at the top, one-piece glass, pretty easy to spot. But the real telltale on a tub is the wheel well hump. So a lot of people complain the CJ2As didn't have the greatest seating capacity, so they fixed that on the 3A, where they moved the seats 2 inches back. So if you measure the wheel well from the back end to where the wheel well starts, a CJ2A is 34 inches long and a CJ3A is 32 inches long. So that's a really good way to tell. And then I believe this little cover right here, which I'm sure it's left over from World War II, this is where they had their little trailer plugs for the Bantam trailers and stuff like that. And I know the 2As were kind of leftover designs from the war, but at the 3A, I think they got rid of that little bracket completely. But overall, super solid Jeep project, especially for being in the Rust Belt. Obviously, the floor has been covered up at one point, but you gotta remember these are off-road vehicles, outside vehicles, farm vehicles, so they were always sitting outside, and at least around here, you got tons of moisture, water, leaves sit in them, dirt, mud, just rots them out. But as far as the rest of the body goes, it's really nice that this thing's pretty straight. You know, it's still got the top bow brackets on the side of it. And this is all good real metal right here. And a good telltale of a good versus a bad Jeep is you want to look out for these drain holes. So any Jeep that's been patched, you almost always lose the drain holes right here. And then people almost always bondo over this body seam in the section. So that's how you know you got a pretty good original body right there. If you see a Jeep that's all smooth right here, you know it's just on original. Which, you know, I'm guilty myself on my submarine Jeep, but I was trying to make it look like a World War II Jeep with the shovel and the axe mount, so to me that didn't matter so much. Yeah, so this has got M151 Mutt wheels on it. The Mutts use the same bolt pattern as the Jeep. The only difference is because they're independent suspension, totally different geometries and body design, the offset on these wheels are different, so they sit a little more inwards, I believe. So if you're turning the steering wheel full lock to full lock, you might get some rubbing on the inner fenders, but no big deal at all. A lot of people run these tires and wheels because they're really cheap. You know, to find them, it's pretty old to be considered surplus now, but to find a Mutt tires and wheels with the military tires already on them, I mean, you can get a set of these for $100. You know, you almost can't even give them away sometimes. So, great little trail tire and wheel for sure. And if you hit one on a rock, you know, who cares? And then it's also got M151 Mutt seats in it. You can see that someone has put angle iron that goes all the way across the Jeep just to mount the seats on, which the seats still look kind of vintage, so it's not like they put like CJ7 seats that stick up, you know, 4 feet up off the floor. But they're a pretty good fit for the Jeep. Obviously, if you find original seat frames, that'd be better, but I mean, these will get you by for sure. So this is the drivetrain that I received when I bought the Jeep. I don't know if this one necessarily came out of that Jeep, but it's one that the guy had sitting around. He's planning to restore the Jeep. He had a few others, so who knows what the real story is, but it's got a stock Jeep T90 transmission, Dane 18 transfer case, belt housing, all that kind of stuff. This is a Willys 4-cylinder Jeep engine, but they use these engines in all kinds of different things, a lot of generators. And this is obviously a generator engine. One reason that you could tell is because if you look at this thermostat housing, it aims upwards. So on a generator, they're stationary, they have a lot bigger radiators on them. So the radiator sticks up about this high. So that top hose really has to angle up to stay out of the fan. And then another telltale is this carburetor. So if you notice, the carburetor is actually mounted sideways. On a standard Jeep engine, this would be going front to back, the bolt pattern. Generator engines had them both ways. I've seen them with standard Jeep manifolds, and I've seen with this style manifold setup. I don't know why they did that. It could be because of the governor systems that they had on them. This one doesn't have it anymore, but that might be a possibility with the throttle linkages and stuff like that. But really, it's pretty common to see generator engines mounted into Jeeps, and this one obviously was in a Jeep at one point. You can actually use the stock thermostat housing off a generator engine. Your hose is going to kink just a little bit, but if you have a flex hose instead of just a straight hose, no problem at all. And I see someone has already got the tall dipstick tube on there. Some generator engines, these dipstick tubes only go about to here, which it's kind of a pain in the Jeep because you got your oil filter bracket and all that stuff right in the way, but this one's already got the Jeep style, which is pretty handy. And I don't know if there's anything else super special about the tag right here. So if you want to zoom in on that. That one's definitely hard to read, but a lot of these will say Willys Industrial on them or something of that nature that have the serial number, stuff like that. So pretty easy telltale. Or a World War II Jeep might have the rebuild tag on it from, you know, if it was in Norway or something with an engine rebuild, they